Have you ever wondered why our mothers love us? It's not so easy to come up with a straight answer. You may say, because I'm her child. But is that all? The answer is, of course, much deeper than that. After all, maternal love is the strongest, dearest, and most sincere. Even if this love is unrequited, which does happen, a mother will never stop loving her child. She will stop at nothing to make sure her child is happy. The story I want to tell you today could be a little embellished, but it shows what a mother's love is capable of, even when her own child rejects it. Don't put too much stock into the story itself, but treat it as a lesson to think about our own relationships with our parents. Nick lived with his mother in a very small apartment. He couldn't remember his father and didn't know where he was. He despised his mother because of her appearance. She was missing an eye, and this gave her a slightly sinister look. Nick was ashamed of how his mother looked. He thought that no one wanted to be his friend because of her appearance. He avoided going into public with her, and they hardly spoke. He would silently eat whatever food she prepared for him and then hurry to his room in order not to have to talk to her. One day, Nick did not come home from school on time, and his mother worried about his absence. She went to the school to look for him. As she was asking around about where Nick could be, he spotted her from afar. Nick was gripped by panic because now everyone would find out what an ugly mother he had and not want to be friends with him. So he ran away. That evening at home, he yelled at his mother that he hated her and scolded her for daring to show her face at his school. She listened in silence and tried to keep herself from crying in front of her son. All she wanted was good things for her son. She only went to the school because she was worried that something had happened to him. But Nick was too angry to listen. As soon as Nick graduated from school, he packed up his things and moved to the city to attend the university there. He left a short note for his mother so she wouldn't come looking for him. He intended to never see her again. And so Nick left without even saying goodbye to his mother in person. He studied in the city, got a good education, graduated with honors, got a good job, and bought a house. He never even thought about his mother this whole time. He even got married and had children of his own, but did not consider it necessary to tell his mother. Finally, the woman's heart could not stand to live in ignorance any longer, and she decided to find her son in the city, no matter the cost. She figured enough time had passed that maybe he wouldn't be so harsh towards her. She learned from her son's former classmate where she could find him and prepared for her journey to the city. Upon arriving, she found Nick's house, but was unable to knock on the door. She sat on a bench near the house and waited. She didn't know what she was waiting for, maybe that he would see her and run into her arms. But then an expensive car stopped nearby and 2 children got out of it. When they saw her, they screamed and ran to tell their parents about the woman with one eye sitting nearby. First, a very pretty young woman got out of the car, shushed the children, and whispered that it was rude to talk about people in such a way before entering the house. Then Nick got out of the car. Of course, she immediately recognized him and started to approach him, but he pushed her away and shouted at her for scaring his children. They didn't even know about her existence, and he intended to keep it that way. He told her to never come back and went into the house, slamming the door behind him. The poor woman just sat on the bench, crying bitterly, and then silently got up and walked away. Several more years passed, and Nick's high school reunion was coming up. He wanted to attend the event so that he could brag to everyone how successful he had become. He arrived a day early, stayed at a hotel, and decided to take a walk through the streets to reminisce about his youth. He didn't even notice that his legs had taken him to his old apartment where he lived with his mother. He saw an old neighbor who immediately recognized him and told him that his mother had passed away several years ago after returning from the city. She became ill upon arrival, but doctors could not make an accurate diagnosis. They tried to find Nick, but weren't able to, so they organized the funeral on their own. Then the neighbor gave Nick an old envelope which contained a letter from his mother. Nick casually took the envelope, not even really comprehending what the neighbor told him, as he was preoccupied with thoughts about the reunion with his former classmates the next day. When he got back to the hotel, he meant to throw the letter away without even reading it, but something stopped him. He decided to read it after all. The woman wrote, "My dear and beloved son, Nick, forgive me for everything, for the fact that I could not give you the happy childhood that you dreamed of. Forgive me for the poverty in which we lived. Forgive me for not being beautiful enough to make you proud of me. But the thing is that when you were born, there was something wrong with your eye and it had to be removed. I did not want you to feel ugly, so I agreed to give you my eye. I do not regret my decision at all, but I did not dare confess it to you during my lifetime. I really want everything in your life to be very good. I love you very much. Your mom." Nick silently folded the letter and put it back into the envelope, threw it into his bag, and went to bed. One can only imagine what thoughts visited him that night. Did he regret the last words he spoke to his mom, or was he too busy thinking about bragging to his classmates? What do you think? Share your opinion in the comments. Click the like button if you enjoyed this story, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell icon so as not to miss our new videos.